So my name is Reagan Haisler. I lead our solution engineering team for the Americas, based out of Houston. Just luck of the draw that this event was here in person. So first live presentation in 2 years. Excited to be back and see you guys. So today we're going to talk about UiPath, kind of set the stage for the theme that we'll go for. And then I'll give 3 examples of things that I couldn't have said in my last presentation in person 2 years ago because the products didn't actually exist yet. So we'll go through three quick examples of some of the newer pieces and the value that they're creating. So the overarching theme that we'll talk about today is the role of IT leadership in the digital transformation journey. It's not necessarily news. We see headlines. It's continuing news. It's not breaking news by any means that there is specific knowledge that IT leaders or IT consultants or these change agents have that contribute towards that digital transformation journey that maybe 5-10 years ago wasn't necessarily the same theme of what an IT leader is doing. So 2 years ago, we used to show the 4 years on the left-hand side of the digital transformation budget and investment just continuing to increase. And we're really excited about that. When I saw this slide preparing for this presentation, new slide from the marketing team, I was actually even more surprised that the budget is increasing 2x more over the last couple of years during the pandemic than it was in the last 5 years before that. So for me personally, spent a lot of time talking with customers about how UiPath can impact that digital transformation journey, how the IT leaders can be the ones suggesting using innovation to change the way that you're doing business. I also think of digital transformation as being hard to define, but personally, I've always seen it as using technology and innovation to create competitive advantage for companies. And that's something at a very high level scale that we're talking about. We're not talking about reducing cost, and that's the only value driver that we're hitting. We're talking about really changing the way that your employees do the work, that your processes function, that your customers receive the product or experience the product, and all of those. So for UiPath, we kind of got put in that bucket with the other RPA vendors for 5 years ago through 3 years ago of, okay, let's automate repetitive tasks, things that people do all day, and let's save costs. But over the last couple of years, we've really seen it expand into new places. How do we do things faster to increase our customer experience, or release new products, or open new revenue streams? So hitting the top line, not just the bottom line. Or how are we treating our customers differently and increasing our retention rates or our customer satisfaction? Or how are we using our people as that competitive advantage? How are we retaining our top talent? How are we keeping them from doing the repetitive work that they don't like doing? Because that's a lot of reason why people are leaving jobs right now, is they want to do more of the impact work. They don't want to do all of the repetitive stuff that they feel like technology can do for them. And so for those of you that aren't too sure or haven't heard about robotic process automation in a while, UiPath really thinks it as enterprise automation now, but RPA is still known as kind of that category. But traditionally, it was always thought of as having a software robot work on a computer or a virtual machine and do things that normal people do on the computer. The most traditional use case is the swivel chair use case. There's data on this screen. I need to pull 1,000 different records off of that screen. I need to type it into my ERP system, and the robot can do that 1,000 times. And if you've ever seen one work, it works lightning fast. It could do 1,000 records in probably seconds, maybe a couple minutes. And so that was always the cost reduction use case of how do we take all of that super repetitive, mundane work away? Now it's more, how are we driving competitive advantage through complete transformation? And that's really the message that's a lot different than 2, 3, 5 years ago with automation. I think technology and innovation has been a really big part of that. And so we'll run through a couple examples here, or 3 examples actually, of new technology or capabilities in this space. Just huge kudos to the UiPath strategy and product team that I am just a recipient of a lot of the decisions that they make. But they made some really awesome decisions that allowed our customers to create new value by expanding the platform outside of automation or RPA and doing things that would traditionally be thought of as tangential, but now is just part of all of the same thing. So the 3 quick examples we'll run through are process discovery, for a holistic view of process transformation, not just trying to automate one specific thing, but trying to look at it as a whole. How are we impacting the top KPIs? The next example we'll talk through is upskill. So upskilling your digital workforce, your robots, to do more things, therefore automating more. And then the last example we'll talk on, just for a quick bit at the end, is the testing world. Huge space, especially inside of IT and our partners. And so how are we moving into that space? How are we helping customers save time or money or increase efficiency in the test automation? So the first quick example we'll talk through here is discovery. So if we're an IT organization, I think what's important here is we talk about the process discovery world. Process mining is a big tech trend right now. There's a few dedicated vendors coming out. UiPath feels like having process mining as part of your platform is important because it takes the same skill sets and the same thought process from IT to support those initiatives. So these are combined teams. There are IT data specialists that load the data into the process mining software. Then there are continuous improvement groups that analyze it with the business units for how all of the KPIs are functioning, what are the variants, the repetitions, all of these things that are contributing towards the negative impacts to your process. So if we think of order to cash, we've got your order received through your order delivery. Process mining as a technology, mainly the people that use it are able to use it to find examples like this. So manual orders are really bogging us down because there are email attachments and PDFs that create a queue for us, and that's impacting our cycle. Or maybe the credit blocks process in your ERP system is taking too long, and that's what's hitting your working capital, and that's what the CFO cares about. Or potentially your customers are exposing that there are bugs in your system in the return cycle, and that's why your return cycle is bogging everything down. So process mining is a combined team. It requires IT, it requires business improvement, and it requires the business to all be involved and look at this. This is tying back to the digital transformation. This is how you change a process end to end. As you look at it, you look at how do the KPIs and how are the steps and all of those bottlenecks impacting that. Now, icing on the cake is same platform to do your process discovery as your process transformation. Not everything you find in process mining is going to be solved by UiPath, really aware of that. But there's a lot of things that UiPath and automation and the existing capabilities like AI Center or Action Center would be able to do there. Happy to dive more into that in an offline conversation, but just a good visual of seeing, okay, we've got bottlenecks. How do we go solve some of that? Some of it's going to be training, some of it's going to be process changes or standardization, but UiPath plays a big space in the end-to-end transformation. Then the next quick example we'll talk about is upskilling your digital workforce. So if you think about RPA that we showed before, it does repetitive things and you train as much rules-based logic into it as possible. For the Squid Game fans, you got red light means stop, green light, it means go. That's the type of things that you can teach robots to do. But whenever you add artificial intelligence or machine learning into it, you can now train your robots to do more complex things. The example that I've always used for this is you receive a loan application. Now you've got to read data off of that and put it into the queue to see if you should approve or deny that loan. It's a great traditional use case of RPA. Pull the data, put it into the system, saves a lot of time. But what if you're able to now have the robot that pulls the data, puts it into the system, and now compares that loan application to 100,000 other loan applications, and whether they were successful loans, whether they were delinquent payers, all of the outcomes that's happened. That's a great use of artificial intelligence or machine learning. So now you have a robot that is receiving the application and making a decision in a matter of seconds, minutes. That's competitive advantage because now that customer doesn't even have time to go apply for the second loan with your competitor. They already got approved. So adding intelligence to your automation is another way of really transforming the end-to-end process. For the IT people in the room, if I would highlight what you should know about this, number one, as a former IT business analyst with a consulting firm, you should know that when you're talking to business units about how do we transform your process, that you don't have to just narrow automation down to rules-based logic anymore. You should be factoring in what are outsourced or what are open sourced ML models, what are ML models that UiPath has built. Here's some great examples of them. Or what ML models could your data science organization build that contribute towards your process transformation initiatives? So lots of capabilities here for you to use that intelligence inside of what was traditionally thought of rules-based automation. Really, really big impacts here. And then the last example that I'll go through, and just to save time, it's not necessarily an example. If there was one homework that I'd give you or research, it would be to go learn about how UiPath is entering into the test automation market. For IT organizations, I believe the statistic is it's a $40 billion market globally per year, and only 3 billion of that, less than 10%, is used on automated testing. The other 90% plus is all on humans doing the testing. And I don't think that it's impossible for you to ever replace all of that manual testing with automation, but you can absolutely do testing better, more robustly, more efficiently, and save some of that cost if you're able to transition test automation from highly manual, slightly automated to as much automated as possible with the right blend of human interaction for the psychology of human interfaces and all of that goes into building out your applications or enhancements or new releases. So fresh off the press, I believe we'll have a way of sending this link out or within the slides. If not, you could hit it from our website. I believe this was released last week. First time I've ever seen a vendor go from not being on it the year before to in the leaders category on any type of quadrant that I've seen. So really, really big impacts here in the way that we're changing the way that you can do testing. You see some of the other vendors that are traditionally playing in this space, which you might use today. So that's really it for today. Those are the 3 examples, really thinking about end-to-end transformation of the way that we're doing things. UiPath, happy to talk to you. Again, my name is Reagan, based here in Houston. This is Tamara, also based here in Houston. If we can help you guys with anything, let us know.